If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. So in yesterday's video, I told you that we had to leave Mississippi 2 weeks early. And I'll put a link to that video right here. So what happened was the National Forest came out and said, okay guys, we're gonna close it down because we got bad weather coming. So he said at 9 o'clock that we had to be out by 11 o'clock. So I quickly tried to start Googling different campgrounds the best I could. I found a campground that had water, and freecampsites.net said it had internet. So we drove 2 hours to get out there, and it didn't have internet. But the nightmare that incurred, it was probably the worst day I can remember. When we left that campground that didn't have internet, we got to the internet spot, we said Vicksburg, and it said, okay, make a left here. And so we made a left. I bet we didn't get 2 miles. And the weather app immediately said, okay, a tornado warning in your area, take shelter. What had happened was we didn't have internet. And then once we reestablished the internet connection, the weather app sent out the warning. We're on this little 2-lane county road, and it's raining just as hard as it can. I've never seen it rain that hard. I have traveled most of my life for my business through the Midwest. I'm accustomed to tornadoes. I'm accustomed to storms. I've just never been stuck on an old county road where I couldn't pull off somewhere or get underneath a overpass or something. There was just nothing. We couldn't even pull off to get into a ditch, which was, I was always told, if you can't do anything, just get out and get in a ditch. Because on both sides of us was flooded fields. It was just floods. That's all it was. When I saw the rain going up is when I got the most frightened. I thought, well, either we're going to make it or we're not. There was no options for me. We passed this farm building. It was like a carport, and for a moment I thought, I'm just going to pull into this carport and hope I don't get arrested. Maybe I can explain myself. I'm just hanging out here until the storm's over. I was going too fast before I could get stopped, and there was no way I was going to turn around. Well, we ended up going maybe another 2 miles, and there's this guy flashing his lights at us. And it's obvious he's got his hand out the window. He's waving us down. So we stop, and he says, you can't go that way. The road's blocked by a tree and a down power line. And then he stops another truck. As we're turning around, I guess tell him the same thing. Well, that other truck turns around, and I let him go ahead of us. I'm so thankful that I did. The second truck. So we had a Jeep that stopped us, and then we had a white pickup truck that I let go ahead of us. So he's in front of us, the Jeep's in front of him. Well, we lose sight of the Jeep. I don't know where it went. And there's limbs in the road, so we're dodging limbs, we're driving on the left. And I'm really glad he's in front, because for some reason he's got really good vision, because he's seen these limbs way before I am. So if he was in the left lane, I knew I needed to be in the left lane. Well, all of a sudden he just slams on his brake lights. And immediately I thought, uh-oh. There's a tree down. And sure enough, there was a tree down. So now we are blocked. We got power lines behind us and a tree in front of us. So I get my rain poncho on, and I go get out to see if there's any way of getting around this thing. Well, this tree, remember I told you I was going to stay? I had thought about pulling into this farmhouse. Well, the tree was maybe 10 feet away. The tree that's down on the road was 10 feet away from that driveway. So I looked down the driveway, and there's a tree on top of that carport. So if we'd have been underneath there, that tree would have came down on us. Well, the guy in the white pickup truck, he gets out of the truck and he pulls out this huge rope. He says, you want to help? And I said, yes sir, let's get this thing out of the way. And he says, if you'll tie the rope up over that limb up there. And he started backing up. Of course, the rope broke several times. I bet it broke 4 or 5 times, but he just stayed with it. And I offered him some money for his help. He said, no, I had to go through here anyways. And we worked that tree until we finally got it out of the way enough that we could get around it. As we're working on this tree, another pickup truck pulls up behind us. I wave him through, he comes in first. So now I'm following this new pickup truck. By this time, I'm running out of gas. I'm down to like an eighth of a tank, quarter of a tank maybe. A little less than a quarter, I know that. And internet's in and out spotty. Remember, the rain is just beating us down. And I also got to call the bank because we're going to head into Louisiana. And if I don't call the bank, they're going to freeze my account, so I can't make any purchases. So, and here's getting, 2:30. So anyway, we're following this dually pickup truck, and he stops. He waves us down, and he says, there's another tree down, and we're not going to be able to pull this one out. I said, is there any other way to Vicksburg? He says, follow me, and when I tell you to make a left, go left, I'm going to go right. So I said, great. And he says, that'll take you right to Vicksburg. So I follow him. But go right takes us to Vicksburg, so off we go. And we weren't down that road a half a mile, another tree down. Well, this one wasn't so bad. There was actually like 2 trees down. There's a pine tree that had busted when it hit the ground, and then just a big limb. So the only thing we really had to do was move the pine tree out of the way. And there's 3 guys, me and 2 guys from the white pickup truck, and we were able to pick up this branch and move it out of the way. Well, then he takes his truck and runs over the other branch and knocks it all down. And so I do the same thing. It's already all busted up, so I don't have to worry about damaging my truck. Well, we get down another 5 miles. Remember, I'm almost out of gas now. And there's another tree down. There's 2 teenagers on the other side of the tree, and they said, we're going to go get a chainsaw. We're only a quarter mile down the road. And they come back and they cut that tree up. And we resume our course. And I even offered to pay the teenagers, and they refused to take money. I even asked Carolyn, I said, is there anything we could have done differently that would have made the situation better? And she didn't have an idea. I mean, when you are a nomad and you were pushed out of safety by government regulations, you're just at the mercy of nature, I think, sometimes. And thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.